For every forgettable blockbuster that has come and gone, there's been a steady stream of stellar under-the-radar action flicks. What they lack in terms of scale and big-budget effects, they make up for with their share of bone-shattering brawls, white-knuckle chases, and bloody bombast. A few years back, writer-director Ted Gagin made a name for himself among the genre set with the atmospheric haunted house film We Are Still Here. Though the film's no-budget production limited what Gagin could ultimately accomplish, there was enough style on display to get excited about what the filmmaker would do next. Surprisingly, instead of horror, Gagin jumped to gory action in Mohawk. Mohawk unfolds in the last days of the War of 1812 and finds a young Mohawk woman and her lovers squaring off against a violent band of American soldiers. Mohawk might flag a bit in dialogue-heavy scenes, but when Gagin leaves words out of the mix, this underscene actioner has as much energy and vision as any blockbuster. If you've got an Amazon Prime subscription, then you're probably aware of the streaming service's new action series Hanna. What you might not be aware of is that the show is based on a 2011 film of the same name. That film ended up doing moderately well at the global box office, but it feels like it's been all but forgotten by audiences in the years since. Like the series, the film version of Hanna follows a teenage girl who has a penchant for putting down bad guys with a graceful brutality. All the while, she's hunted by a secretive intelligence operative, a mirthfully menacing Cate Blanchett. Hanna is a taut, boldly stylized pseudo-detective action fantasy that delivers a weighted payload in terms of both pulse-pounding set pieces and character-driven drama. It's high time this action-packed gem got rediscovered.
I just missed your heart.
For many American moviegoers, exposure to the work of Japanese extreme auteur Takashi Miike begins and ends with his dark 1999 masterwork Audition. Understandable as it may be, you're doing yourself a disservice by ignoring his other films. Among Miike's sprawling output, you'll find the work of a visionary filmmaker with a flair for genre, a penchant for gore, and plenty of eye-popping action. You'll get plenty of all that in Miike's 2010 samurai stunner, 13 Assassins. Set in the waning days of feudal Japan, the film's setup promises a harrowing showdown between the title assassins and the shogun's ruthless brother, whose upcoming promotion threatens to bring chaos to the otherwise peaceful Japanese landscape. Miike takes his time getting to that showdown, meticulously building toward the fateful finale with a screenplay that allows audiences to get good and comfy with the anti-heroes and villains of the piece. When Miike finally blows the lid off 13 Assassins, he does so with a bloody, brutal savagery all but unseen in American cinema. Wheelman follows a freshly paroled getaway driver played by Frank Grillo, who finds himself double-crossed and on the run. Fittingly for a movie following a character played by longtime character actor Grillo, the film is very much the sort of pulpy crime flick that plays to his strengths. Writer-director Jeremy Rush gives his star ample room to talk tough, act tough, and drive hard. Rush amplifies the film's inherent machismo by keeping his camera confined almost entirely within a single car. It's a bold, stylish move that pays off in spades, giving a fresh perspective to the sort of car-crashing, fist-fighting, and machine-gunning we've seen a million times over.
What's your name, man? I don't want to talk. What? Chit-chat. I don't chit-chat unless it's about the job.
One day, the world at large will catch up to the genius of writer-director Joe Cornish. When it does, they'll likely look back on 2011's Attack the Block and wonder how it ever became a box office bomb. Cornish's film delivers the action-packed stoner comedy alien invasion horror flick the world never knew it needed. Sadly, the world still seems oblivious to this sharply written, exquisitely executed genre mashup, despite the jaw-dropping action scenes and killer creature design. Not to mention what should have been star-making turns from future Doctor Who star Jodie Whittaker and later Star Wars star John Boyega. Do yourself a favor and check out this hidden gem. Though the bloodshed has finally stopped, the simmering tensions that drove Irish Catholics and Protestants headlong into the carnage of the Troubles remains a part of life in Northern Ireland. In Belfast, circa 1971, the setting of 71, the divisive fires that drove the madness still burned with the raging heat of bombed-out cars and gunpowder. 71 opens with a kindly new recruit joining a British military regiment in the war-torn streets of Belfast. The film pivots sharply when an angry mob ends up separating the man from his retreating regiment, leaving him lost, alone, and injured in a situation where he's perceived as an enemy to one and all. From there, the film plunges viewers into a breathless, night-long race for survival through an unforgiving landscape where vengeance is righteous, no matter the cost. 71 is that rarest of the action films that dares to examine both the human cost of the bloody conflict and the cycle of hate that fueled it.
Connor, you should be ashamed of yourself! These boys are young enough to be your son!
In case you missed out on Haywire in theaters, the film follows a tough-as-nails Black Ops agent called Mallory who finds herself hunted by international mercenaries after being double-crossed in a clandestine mission. With plenty of grit, brawn, and brains, Mallory quickly turns the tides on her betrayers, setting up a hunted becomes the hunter revenge tale for the ages. Though Haywire marked director Steven Soderbergh's first full-blown action flick, you'd never be able to tell by how effortlessly he executes the film's intricate set pieces, style and whimsy most action movies never even aspire to. That Soderbergh cast legit MMA star Gina Carano in the lead role only serves to legitimize each vicious escalation even as the film unapologetically begins to earn its title. It all makes Haywire an overlooked diamond among Soderbergh's impeccable filmography. If you'd have told us a few years back that we'd be listing a certified fresh, Tom Cruise-fronted sci-fi epic among our underrated action movies picks, we probably would have told you were completely insane. Yet here we are, half a decade after its release, still wondering how so many people slept on this intelligent, action-packed banger. Edge of Tomorrow, which follows a soldier continuously killed during a deadly alien assault only to be dropped right back into the action, is worth remembering. This Groundhog Day-esque action film is a classic, one that matches epic human drama against an equally epic scope. It's also a film with an insanely cool sci-fi concept with mind-boggling special effects and set pieces that make repeat viewings endlessly rewarding. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you have seen it, see it again.
I would go with the sense of manifest destiny. Rags to riches, rapid rise through the ranks, born to deliver us, and the people, well, they love that sort of thing.
Few genres are as well primed to build big-time action into a narrative as science fiction. While Hollywood has given us its share of supersized sci-fi bombast over the years, audiences have proven themselves equally open to experiencing more concept-driven science fiction fare. While Leigh Whannell's clever, camp-tinged techno-thriller upgrade sits firmly in the latter category, this unpredictable tale wholly embraces its big-budget ambition. It's the sort of savvy, small-scale science fiction that deserved a much broader audience. If you're among those who missed Upgrade in theaters, it follows a technophobic everyman who blazes a path of bloody vengeance after a mugging leaves him paralyzed and his wife dead. He's aided in that endeavor by STEM, a computer chip that allows him to walk as well as dole out plenty of violence on his attackers. From start to finish, Whannell spins a wholly original action-packed sci-fi tale from clear influences, all while having way more fun with its haughty yet silly concept than most action movies would dare.
You now have full control again, Gray.
Let's take a moment to talk about Jeremy Saulnier's harrowing survival drama Green Room, a film that couldn't find its audience even with a glowing review from Quentin Tarantino. Oddly, that may simply be the result of one too many people pegging Saulnier's punk-tinged chiller as a horror film. While the story itself is endlessly horrific, Green Room might have found its audience if viewers had been expecting a first-rate action flick instead. That's not to say there aren't ghouls aplenty in Green Room. There are. They just happen to be of the very human neo-Nazi persuasion. Their Prey, a down-on-their-luck hardcore band, are equally human. When they inadvertently witness a murder while on tour, the band's instinct is to hightail it out of town. Their Nazi counterparts have other plans, which gets even worse when their sneering leader shows up and essentially condemns the band to death. From that moment on, Green Room breathlessly propels itself forward with the filth and the fury of a punk rock thrasher. Indulging in unflinchingly tense showdowns and grueling acts of violence every step of the way, Saulnier delivers an insightful, surprisingly timely action thriller that'll leave your brain racing and your heart pumping overtime. In case you hadn't noticed, Netflix has been churning out movies at a feverish rate over the past several years. Of course, with their under-the-radar release strategy and general lack of proper promotion, it's entirely likely you've missed out on more of those releases than you thought. We'd lay even odds that the blistering, brutal gangster drama The Night Comes for Us is among the films you missed. If that's the case, it's an oversight that action fans will want to rectify immediately, because this blood-soaked crime drama packs a punch you won't be able to shake. At the center of that saga is a former triad enforcer named Ito, who, while slaughtering an entire village for his bosses, stays the execution of a young girl. In doing so, he sets off a bloody chain of events that puts the triad on their trail. Matters get insanely violent from that moment on, with a ceaseless wave of triad henchmen armed with cool names, cool weapons, and cooler-than-cool attitudes, taking on Ito and a few loyal members of his old crew. Bones are broken, limbs are severed, bodies are set aflame or blown to bits. Through all the grueling, meticulously orchestrated action, the film also manages to capture a deeply human story of redemption. For action fans of a certain age, the late 80s remain a fertile time period for a particular sort of absurdly predictable and way over-the-top action flick. There's no doubt that genre maven Adam Wingard is one of those fans, and his stylized, horror-tinged thriller The Guest is all the proof you'll ever need. For the uninitiated, being predictable and over-the-top aren't really hindrances to this sort of film. In fact, the mixture of seriousness and absurdity is all part of the fun. Wingard and screenwriter Simon Barrett have about as much fun with that approach in The Guest as any filmmakers have ever had. Leading the charge for the film's giddily over-the-top vibe is Dan Stevens, who delivers a fascinatingly unhinged performance as a mysterious soldier who befriends an unsuspecting family. He's ostensibly there to pay respects to their son, who supposedly died in combat while serving alongside Stevens' character. Without spoiling any of the dizzying madness, we'll just say that the man isn't who he claims to be. As bodies start piling up around town, The Guest twists and turns from eerily stolen identity drama into a surreal neo-noir horror show rife with all the genre affectations one could ever hope for.
You want the elite?
Well, I'll take them all.
What, all the handguns?
No, everything. All your guns.
Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about your favorite movies are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.